Alright, well, Target employees that have been leading the fight for a $15 minimum wage actually got, to a large degree, what they wanted. Their wages were increased substantially, but unfortunately for them, they had to learn the hard way about undesirable and unintended consequences, which is essentially that many Target employees had their hours cut and benefits removed after they were under the 30-hour-a-week cutoff. Now, it's easy to say Target is a huge business, they're just being greedy, but you cannot say that when taking everything into consideration. What is one part of being a big business? Well, it's having big costs. If Target takes in roughly $75 billion in a year, their costs are generally around $71 billion a year. That is their cost of doing business. It is by no means cheap to run a business of that size, and if you employ 323,000 people and are paying them by the hour, as Target does, a slight increase in that pay on the whole will cause serious problems and add astronomical amounts to their costs. Here's the thing that people don't take into consideration, and I've mentioned this before, but I don't think I can mention it enough. There is something called a profit margin, and Target's profit margin is on average around 3.22%. That means for every $1 they receive in revenue, they only get to keep 3 to 4 cents of that dollar. So when you see that Target took in $75 billion, that does not mean that they're filling swimming pools with gold coins. That's not how any of this works. It means that of that $75 billion, $71 billion of those dollars went right out the door. Not to mention, as I said before, Target employs 323,000 people making an hourly wage. Let's say they all make $10 an hour and they work 40 hours a week, 52 weeks a year. In that scenario, you'd just multiply all those things together. You'd figure out that Target is paying about $6.7 billion a year to their hourly wage workers. Now, let's say Target is forced to increase everyone's wages by just $5 an hour to get them all to that prized $15 an hour mark. We'll do the same thing again, and you find that Target would now be shelling out over a year period for 323,000 people, about $10.07 billion a year. That's a rough increase of about $3.4 billion a year they'd be paying, and it would all stem just from that $5 increase. That is well within the margin of ruining their profit margin. And now, would it destroy Target overnight? No. But would it begin their descent and act as a catalyst for their contraction, or act as a catalyst for them to have to raise prices, or act as a catalyst for them to have to automate positions, or act as a catalyst for what we've seen, which is that they had to cut hours and benefits? Absolutely it would. Because that's another thing. The wage these workers receive is not the entire story. Many of them receive medical benefits as well and employee discounts, which helps their paychecks go even further. So all in all, this is yet another example of those advocating for a federal minimum wage hike simply not taking everything into consideration. And by everything, I mean most of reality. And many lessons you can learn from reality can be very, very harsh. But that is it for now. Like, subscribe, and share this video, and you take it easy.